You are listening to the No Invite Podcast.
Season 3.
The progression.
Follow us on Instagram at no_invite_podcast or look us up on YouTube at No Invite Podcast.
The best kept secret.
Bang, you know what it is. No Invite Podcast, episode 85, season 3, The Progression. As always, you know, you got me, your host, Blaze, in the building doing what the fuck we do. And of course, we had to do it. We always got to do it, man. We always got to have a guest. You always got to have somebody that's out there working hard, you know, putting their feet to the pavement and actually getting some traction and doing things. And we got the legendary Madv in the building, guitarist / producer / engineer / entrepreneur. We could go on and on, bro, but how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing all right. Sunday afternoon, getting warm. Fishing season, bro.
Hey, you know what? I cannot be mad at you about that. Fishing season is always a good reason. I'm not really too much of a fan of the heat, but I mean, living in California, it's not like we could actually hide from it. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, how just so that people know, and I kind of already said it in the intro, but I want them to know what kind of hats you wear, you know, the many hats of you that you wear. So what is it that you do besides being an artist? Because I think that's kind of like first, you know what I mean? You're artist first, but what else is it that you do besides your artistry?
Like hobbies or as far as music?
I would say let's keep it more. I mean, hobbies are always good too, but let's just keep it more to like your the music and music related things and what you do.
Lately I've been getting into consulting. People invite me to their studios and have me check out what they're doing because they want the sound that I have instead of the regular old sax sound that everybody seems to have and can't get away from. I do videography, do photography, graphic arts, guitar production, producing, engineering, pretty much everything that's got to do with music, management. Sometimes seems like I'm doing a lot of management work because a lot of these artists don't know what they're doing, and you pretty much got to play daddy to them because they're starting out, or they've been doing music a while, but they don't know their royalties. They don't know any of that type of stuff.
They don't know the business side that they don't glamorize, basically.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And that's dope, man. Consultation is where it's at, bro. Being for somebody that's been doing this for a long time, somebody that's been on the grind, like consultation is just another aspect. Like we fall into it because I get that too. You know, I be consulting people on certain things that is regarding the industry that they're completely unaware of, you know, and a lot of artists jump into this music industry, you know, they strive for this, but they leave out the most important part. In my personal opinion, it is the business aspect that they leave out. And that's kind of like, you can't get to the next level if you don't have the business side to it, period.
Exactly.
You could always find an engineer, you could always find a producer, but if you're going to entrust somebody to do your business, you better hope he's a trustworthy person. So the best bet is for them to learn themselves first, you know?
Exactly. You know, and I personally feel it's not my responsibility to be telling all these artists, go get BMI, go get ASCAT, register your stuff. You know, if you want to do a $10 hook and it's being played all over the hood, why not register it and get your streams, you know?
Exactly.
And they get mad about it. And I'm like, dude, you're the artist. You should be on top of this crap. I register my work. Every single thing I do, I register it.
Yeah. No, dealing with artists, and I could totally relate to that. Dealing with artists, a lot of times when you pull the covers back, they don't like that shit. And it's not because you're trying to be an asshole. You're not trying to be a dick and point it out or be like, thumb your nose at them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I know this or I know that. You're trying to help them. And it makes it almost like you don't want to do it. Like you said, it's not your job, obviously, but it also makes you like you don't want to do it when they act like that. It's like, dude, I'm trying to help you out. I'm doing you a favor.
Exactly.
In the long run. But you know, Some people know, some people don't know. It's I'm sure you'll agree it's a blessing when you step into the studio with an artist that already knows what they're doing, has their business in
Yeah.
order,
Yeah.
allows you to be the producer, allows you to be the engineer. They know their sound, so they could kind of, tell you like, hey, put a little bit more of compression on this, or I like this, plug in on my vocals, or whatever the case is. But a lot of times if they come to you as an artist already established, they kind of trust your sound already because they're just not going to anybody. So they know that you're going to do the right shit.
I find that most people come to me by word of mouth. They've heard it from their homie or someone else here.
Mm-hmm.
They've looked it up. They've listened to it. They like the other person's sound, and a lot of times people tell me, oh, well, my friend records here. So, I wanted to check it out and I like the sound.
That's dope. That's real talk. And as an artist, that's how we learn a lot of things: word of mouth, Instagram, YouTube, a fellow artist. You know what I mean? Or put me on to who did that beat, who made that beat for you, or put me on to where you record at and things like that. So that's pretty dope. That's, to be honest with you, that's how I learned about you. I heard from you from my friend Chin Chin. He was fucking with you. He had done some music with you. I liked what you did. I was like, okay, I for sure got to tap in. I gotta reach out to this dude and get some work in. And I believe that was like almost 2-3 years ago now. So we've been in contacts ever since then, which is, building relationships and shit. How long have you been playing the guitar for first?
Oh shit. 90, 91, 92.
All right. So you've been playing guitar longer than a lot of these artists been alive, and longer than my kid's been alive. Because I have a kid that was born in, in the 21st century. So yeah.
Yeah.
What put you onto it? What made you want to pick up the guitar and be like, you know what, I want to do this?
My dad played congas and timbales with a lot of famous Latin rock, Latin bands that have been, nationally world known bands, and traveling the world with him and being his personal roadie and setting his stuff up and going on stage and playing the guy's guitar and doing this, I was kind of raced around it. And to go on stage in front of 20,000 people and play a guitar solo or play the cowbell right alongside my dad, it's just that ultimate high.
Yeah. I mean, I could only imagine.
I wanted to do it,
That's epic, to be honest with you. That's super awesome. Like, to be introduced to music in that style, in that fashion. It's obviously in your blood, you know what I mean?
There's one story that back in 93, 94, I was in high school, and we flew out to Phoenix to do the Cinco de Mayo, and they blocked off the whole downtown. You go on stage and, a mile down the road, you just see nothing but a crowd. Everybody's there for the whole shebang. And Selena, the Barrio Boys, and Lighter Shade of Brown, and then my dad's band, I can never roll my R's, but Tierra.
Tierra.
Yeah, they were there, and I got on stage and played along with my dad for a song. And then backstage, he introduces me to Selena.
Wow.
And back then, I could care less who all these stars were. If it wasn't Metallica or Slayer, I was so into metal that all these people that I met growing up, they were just normal people. I was like, oh, there's someone else my dad knows, and it did not matter to me. And now I'm like, holy shit, I got to meet this icon, and I got to do this. And
dude, you were living like the rock star lifestyle, like at an early age. Like,
yeah. I had friends who wanted to be friends because of who my dad was. And when the show came to town, I had a ton of friends.
I'm sure. I'm sure that's how high school is, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I go into Spanish class, and the teacher hands out a huge stack of Hispanic profile paper magazine they used to have, and we used to have to read it and learn from it in Spanish. And someone passes me a magazine, and it's my dad sitting there with his timbales and congas on the front page. And I'm
It's
like,
got to
holy
be
shit.
cool.
I was
It's
so
got to be
embarrassed.
cool. I mean, for a high school, yeah, it probably is a little embarrassing, but then I'm sure anybody looking back now and back then they'd agree with you. That's probably one of the coolest things, though, to be able to
Yeah,
have that experience.
I didn't realize how big he was and how big the machine was. It was just, oh, my dad played music, and
Yeah.
Until I'm like, holy crap, I got to do a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't get to do. Get exposed to sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Shit, man, tell me at an early age at that, man. What was one of the most, I'm not gonna say craziest, but one of the most fascinating stories with the Selena story, or was it like something else that experienced that kind of like solidified you wanting to be an artist, like while on the road with your dad? Like,
Sitting in the hotel room with Carlos Santana smoking weed that got me so paranoid. I've never smoked. I don't know what the hell it was, but it was smoking and sitting there like an idiot trying to play super fast guitar solos. And he would take a guitar and just play it softly and then bend the notes up. And you can hear that in my playing now when I bend the note and let it ring out.
mm-hmm.
He's like, see, I can play that same thing, but slow. Let the notes ring out, let it sing, let your heart, because he's a very spiritual guy.
Mm-hmm.
And you just let your heart do the playing. And it took me a long time to get out of that heavy metal mentality and opened up my mind to other styles of music.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me one of his guitars, and
That's dope.
I ended up selling it 2 years later for some drugs.
I mean, you know how it goes, man. When you're young, you're wild, you're doing whatever the fuck.
But he was just another guitar player to me. It wasn't, I didn't care about anything because everything was given to me. So, value was nothing because I didn't have to earn it.
Mm.
So
Man.
I got rid of a lot of crap because it didn't mean nothing to me. There's not a lot of stuff that meant nothing to me. But now it's like, holy crap, I had this guitar that I could probably buy houses now.
Yeah. I mean, but it's live and learn, when it comes to that, like you said, you're young, you were exposed to it early, it was normal to you. So it wasn't as big of a deal as it would have been to you now, like, for instance, you know what I mean? And that's just, that's life, man. We travel through life and we experience things, we learn things. And sometimes we realize that we weren't exactly, going about it the right way. But at the end of the day, it's a part of our journey,
Yeah.
We have to experience the good, the bad, and everything in between for us to find our way. Some people never get an opportunity, but for us that do, and we're still on our journey, that's just another lesson and another something else to be grateful for. I'm grateful for all the bullshit that happened to me and that I put myself through, because the first thing I had to learn was I had to be accountable for the shit that I was doing, and for a long time, I didn't have that accountability. I would always find a reason to, it was because of this or because of that. And it's like, after a while, I just started looking at myself and realizing that a lot of times it was me putting myself in that situation. And until I held myself accountable, I was doomed to repeat that in some form or fashion. So you sound like a dude that's really been through a lot, good and bad, I'm assuming, you know what I mean? And you're working hard, you're consistently, you guys got Sanctuary Recording Studio, correct?
Yeah.
And I see you in there constantly. Like, you work at this shit like it's a fucking 9 to 5, dude. How do you do it? How do you manage, your personal time between your business, the studio, and everything else?
I don't really have personal time. When I do, it's going up to the mountains, taking my guns and shooting, going up
That's
to have
always good.
fun. I was telling one of my studio partners, we went up for a drive last week, and I'm like, I don't know what it's like to just have a normal friend. The last 25 years or so has been all about music, and to just, hey, you want to go to the movies? You want to go out to eat? You want to, I don't know, go to the flea market or whatever that doesn't have anything to do with music or production or anything, and just close your mind out to that. I don't know what that's like, really. It's hard to, you know, but when I do get a chance, I enjoy it,
Yeah.
I get off work and I go to the studio at night till 7, 8 in the morning, go home, sleep a couple hours and start over,
Do it all over again, man.
Do it for the artists, because I know a lot of musicians are night owls. For instance, Chin, I get a phone call at 3 in the morning. Hey, you at the studio? Yeah, come on by.
Most artists, more like 99% of the artists are fucking night owls.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, what? I'm open 24 hours, but 90% of the time they come through after 10, 11 at night. And that's, psychologists say that, your creativity is at nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true.
I believe that. Wholeheartedly, I believe that.
I decided this time around when I started up the new studio, because we found a new spot. I thought of Sanctuary, the Sanctuary. I saw something on TV about the Sanctuary, and I was like, that's a great idea. And I wanted to create a place where anybody from South Sac, all these bad neighborhoods, they come to a place where it's quiet, the environment's cool, there's no cops and ambulances and gunshots all over the place. There's no gang fights. You don't have to worry about all that crap. And a lot of artists will be like, I like coming out way up here because I'm up by Roseville in Carmichael. They're like, I'll take that 35-minute drive because it feels like home. It's a safe, comfortable zone. Yeah. And, like I tell all the artists, I don't care if you're in the north side, the west side, the whatever, gang you're in, when you step in that door, everything's neutral. I don't care who you are, if you're the biggest gangster or you're whatever. If someone else and he's your rival, you will respect the studio and do what you need to do, go outside, shoot each other up. But in here, in here, it's all about music. It's all about love and vibes.
Yeah.
So I work with anybody. I don't care what gang you're in, and I'm not partial to these guys or these guys. I've asked certain cliques or movements have asked me to be their personal engineer producer. Oh, well, but we don't want you messing with this clique. And I'm like, sorry, bro, I can't do that. I work with anybody. I don't care how much money you give me. I'm open to everybody, and I'm not going to be partial to just one person or one group. So, everything's neutral.
I mean, it's important as an artist. It's always important to and I'm sure you could relate to this. It's important to have the right environment when you're trying to create or when you're trying to go out there and get things accomplished. A lot of artists, they have their own personal things. They have things going on and whatnot, but there's a lot to be said about a place where you could go and feel like you could let your guard down as far as everything else and just focus on the music. And Sanctuary, that's kind of the vibe I got. Because I follow you, bro. And on Instagram, and I keep up with what you're doing. And when you started the Sanctuary, and you just posted up like who comes by and who's this or that, it's like you got a mix of all different types of musics, backgrounds, artists, and that's dope. At the end of the day, I think that's the most important thing. Of course, obviously the technical side, the engineering, the sound, stuff like that. But to have a place where you feel free and feel comfortable to actually let your hair down and let the creative juices flow is important. And to take you back to what you were saying real quick about normal friends, if you have friends and you guys go fishing, you go shooting guns, it may not be the typical fucking let's go grab a burger or go buy to eat, or, you know, let's go record, let's go hang out. That's normal. People say normal, like they don't understand. Normal is for what it's it's your perspective. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, it's what you think is normal. You know what I mean? So as long as your friends are on the same page with you, more or less, and even if they're not, you know, if they're there when you could call and talk to them, somebody you could vent to, or let's go to the mountains and shoot some guns or whatever the case is, to me, that's normal. Because I have definitely did not lead a normal life. There was no fucking Mr. and Mrs. Cleaver at my house. You dig what I'm saying? So
yeah,
my normal, you know, is probably chaos to somebody else. But in actuality, it's all about what brings you peace and who understands you and who fucks with you. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
So you've been working on multiple projects. I've had you featured on a bunch of my stuff, you know what I mean? And we're going to continue to work. But who are the artists that you're currently working with now?
Oh boy. I've got 4 14, 15, 16-year-old kids that I don't even know their names. That's bad.
That's not, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
The building where we're at, there's like 16 other studio rooms, and people are coming in and building their booths and this and that. And, you know, I keep my door open and people pop in, and other studios out, they all end up coming over to my studio because I got the biggest spot now.
Nice.
And, you know, I'll do like a Friday night where, like an open house, I guess you could say, and everybody comes in and listens, and they all jump on a beat and do like a collab or whatever just to have fun. And I show off what I can do. And so one guy, his name's Yankee or Yank, and he's building this studio a couple doors down from me. And he's like, you know, I'm going to fuck with you. I got guys, and my studio's not up for another month, so I'm going to bring you some business. I was like, cool. And he does videography too. So he's worked on me with on a video with his camera, and, you know, he starts bringing in these kids from the hood, and, you know, I guess they're not used to someone being nice to them, you know, and treating them with respect or whatever. And, you know, they come in the room and they're not used to someone not yelling at them or degrading them or whatever it may be. And I'm like, you guys, just do your thing, be natural, you know, let it flow. And after they finally calm down, it's like, boom, they just start flowing out, doing their stuff, and, you know, they're on their way. I've been working with a guy named Metaphoric. He's a poet, and I've done like 3 videos now for him, and I'm doing his album. And he came to me with some poems, and he wanted to work with me. And my mom introduced him to me because he went through her line at Walmart or something, and she told him. And then, you know, 5 months later, we finally get together, and it's different, but everybody seems to be liking it. The streams are going up, so it's whatever, it's working. I was working with Davina for a while. There's Chin Chin, Megs. There was Cold Piece for a while. Che Drive, DJ MC, Nueva, Chin Chin, and he brings over a couple of people. I don't even know who they are, but they come in and do a session, and then I don't hear from them for a long time, but that's fine. I get paid.
Yeah, I mean, some people come and go, and some people stay consistent. It's all about
the
artists. So, if you could give an artist that booked some studio time, let's say you don't know me, I'm Joe fucking Schmo from you know who or you know where, and I just booked some studio time for them. What would be the thing that you would tell them to be ready for, or to have ready for you? Because, you know, the average artist or somebody that's just diving in, they probably don't know. Oh, I'm bringing my notepad and a pencil on and some weed. You know what I mean? Some liquor. That's it. You know what I mean? So what would you say, tell the average artist that books some studio time for, what would they need to come to your studio?
You know, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I quit the drugs and alcohol 11 years ago. I don't care if anybody else does. Hey, that's your own thing. But for me, I can't do it. My number one pet peeve is we're supposed to start 11 o'clock or whatever time. You show up and you decide you want to right then and there go outside and smoke for a half hour before you come inside. Or you come inside, get your stuff down, get on the mic. Oh, I need a smoke break. And then you go sit outside for a half hour while I'm sitting here with my thumb up my ass.
I hear you.
You know, it's a waste of time. You know, you spend that time driving up here. Why don't you smoke that shit? Do what you got to do before you walk in the door. Work for a little while, then take a break. You know, I don't know. It bugs the hell out of me. What I would say is, have a plan. Know what you want to do. If you don't have a plan, that's fine too. You can always make one up. But at least have practiced your song. Make it look like you
know it.
Know something. You're paying for your time, so if it takes you 2 hours to go through one verse and you don't get it done in time, then that's not my fault, you know.
Most definitely.
I work fast. I can mix as we're going. Some people just like to track it out and then spend a whole 8 hours mixing when you can mix as you're going, you know. But that's just how I work. You know, do whatever makes you comfortable. You know, if you need, I've got 4 bottles of Cabernet sitting on my desk that, and I got some vodka and a little refrigerator full of beer and sodas and water. And I even carry a big old thing of honey, you know, which is good for the vocals.
Mm-hmm.
Opens up the pores for certain singers. And, you know, if it takes a glass of wine to get your nerves down, because I understand I get nervous when I go to a studio to record a track, because it's like the spotlight's on you now, and
You're
you
on the
got that
spot.
pressure. Yeah, you got that pressure. I'm working with another producer to do my rock music, which I don't really get time to do because I'm doing everybody else's stuff. So I'm more heavier critique on myself because I know if I screw up, the producer, you know, some people are really anal about screw ups and this and that, and I screw up all the time. You know, nobody's perfect, but at least practice. You know, do some people, you know, Diamond Des, she come through, boom, have no plan or no nothing. I'll show her the beat, but then 5 minutes, she's got a whole song written out. Hour later, the melody, the harmonies, and we just start going through because she's gifted like that. Other people come through,
Mess all the time up.
Yeah, you know, they sound like a dead cat being strangled down the street. And it's a lot of people have been lied to by their friends. Oh, you're such a beautiful voice. You can sing, but you can't hold the note. You can't, you know, practice. That's my big pet peeve is someone who's popular in the hood, or a pretty face. Everybody likes them, but they come through, they're out of key, they're flat. They come in with this big ego that, oh, I'm Mr. Miss Popular. Let me get on that beat. I really like it. And they're singing, and it's like, dude, you're flat. And they're all singing it and getting all into it, but they don't hear it. They can't hear that they're flat or they're out of key. They're tone deaf. But, you know, because they're Mr. or Miss Popular, you know, you can't take that out of their mind that, oh, well, I'm popular, so I'm like, listen to it, you know. And I try to tell that to artists all the time. Listen to what you're doing. Why release a track? You're out of key. You know, it's like me trying to play a guitar solo with playing jazz. I am not a jazz player. And if I try to play a solo, it's going to sound like shit. You know, if my guitar is out of tune and I'm on stage, the whole crowd's going to hear it, and
They're gonna
oh
know.
crap, yeah. And it's like, so why would you record a track with your levels all up and down, and you're whispering, you're not singing, you know? And I guess I take it really personal because you send me the music. I'm supposed to be your friend, so I'll call them out. I'll tell them straight up, whoever, you know,
Yeah.
dude, why'd you put that on Spotify? Look at it. It's freaking out of key. Can you not hear that?
Yeah.
You know, and people get upset. You know, I've got a bad rep now around because I'm straight up with people. I tell them straight up. They ask my opinion. I'm going to tell them, you know, and it's not to be an asshole. It's like, dude, a freaking deaf person could hear that you're flat. But
Yeah.
now you've released it and made a music video and spent all this money on something that if you take the time to fix it and take direction, you know, granted, some engineers, producers don't know. They don't know when someone's out of key, so they just press record, take their money, and you know, reap the rewards, and they don't care. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of studios are like that. People with a laptop and a microphone and weed. Oh, you know, and they just rush through it and they don't care. And now the artist is all spent $1,000 or so on videos and T-shirts, and I'm like, dude, you know, you get that one chance. You know, you have here. You know, I'll record a song for someone, and I'm like, here's your song. You get that one chance for the first person or whoever to hear it, and after they've heard it,
That's your impression.
yeah, you know. And so I don't like letting people take a song and they come over to the studio and record on one of my tracks, and oh, why hasn't it been released yet? I'm like, bro, you need to do it right. You know, I'm not going to just settle for nothing. It's got to be right or not done at all.
Yeah.
You know, one of the artists I'm working with, they got signed to Pitbull's manager, and the manager hit me up, and you know, we want the artist and I decided to have you do the album, and you'll get your points and all this and that. And so I'm listening to my beat and their vocals. I'm like, no, you got to do it right. You know, if this guy is willing to sign you and do all this for you, it's got to be 100% on top of your game.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a like one of not a mentor, but someone I look up to is Gordon Ramsay. And
Brutally honest.
exactly. And if you watch his formula for cooking or whatever, take his formula and use it at the studio. That's what I've kind of done. You know, oh, this plate here has a little smudge on it. You ain't sending it out like that. You know, this piece of bread, oh, it got a cut. You no, it's not good enough. Make it right. Same thing with recording. You know, your voice is your moneymaker, your art, you
Yeah.
know, and some people are happy with just settling with crap. I'm sorry, but that's just, you know.
Unfortunately, brother, we live in the era of people cannot be upfront anymore. People cannot take criticism no more. And it's kind of strange that we live in this era, because you would think that with all the exposure with social media and the internet and people, just anybody putting their stuff out there, that they would, you know, society at large would be more accepting of criticism, because you're putting it out there. Someone's always going to have a negative thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's always going to have a positive thing to say. You got people that'll gas you up, even if it's trash. But as an artist, you know, some people can't, you know, find that middle ground. So it's either I'm taking this shit offensively, or I'm believing all the bullshit that you're saying about me, and I'm believing the hype. It's very frustrating, and it's unfortunate, and it's good that you're like that, because at the end of the day, you are the kind of artist and engineer that an artist wants. You dig what I'm saying? Somebody that wants it perfect, someone that's going to work on it, someone that's going to go that extra mile. The fact that you want these artists to be ready when they get there, that speaks a lot about who you are. You're not just the type of dude that's just going to take their money. You're going to also sit there and try to give them the best possible product for their money. You know, and if that means you have to tell them like, hey, have your shit together when you get here, then that's what that means. Unfortunately, everybody is not as receptive to it nowadays, which is kind of ridiculous. But I mean, that's just the life that just the way things are right now. If you have something, a criticism about somebody's art, you're a hater now, or you're a fucking scumbag, or you don't know what you're talking about. But
exactly,
before you gave that criticism or that opinion on it, you know, you were the guy they were looking for. So unfortunately, that's just how we live nowadays. And I always tell myself, I was like, the real artists are the ones that's good, you know, cream rises to the top. So the real artists, the ones that are going to take the good and the bad, they're going to learn their lessons, they're going to grind, they're going to go work, they're going to keep writing, keep studying, learning their craft. Like I went to school and I took like the basic recording arts classes at a community college. I did that so that I could communicate well with my engineer. I didn't take it because I wanted to be an engineer. I was like, you know, maybe later on I'll dive deeper into it. I took it so that I could know what I want and I could translate that and actually communicate with somebody that knows what they're doing, somebody that's in the studio, someone that knows the hardware, the software, that knows sound, you know, and how it's supposed to go. So I did that personally for me to make sure that I am a better artist. So that when I tell you, hey, Madv, bro, I need you to do this, need to do that. You know what? Take a little bit of this out for me. Take out some of this, you know what I mean? Some of the ambience. I need you to add some reverb and take out some of this out. Take this out, take that out, or put this in, or what do you think? I know that I'm going to get a straight up answer from you. And if you don't like it, you're going to tell me. I'm not going to get fucking butthurt. I'm going to try to look at it from your perspective and try to get what you're saying. That way I could get the best possible product out, period. Because I'm a stickler for that too, man. And I'm not saying that I'm always perfect, but I definitely take the shit seriously. So
yeah, you know, it's all a matter of opinion. And I always tell people, you know, this is just my opinion. If you're happy with what you have, hey, my opinion don't matter, but you asked me, so this is what I think could be done better, you know.
Exactly.
And
Don't ask me to gas you up.
Yeah, you know, like if you came to my studio, I would ask you straight up from the beginning, do you want a closed session or do you care if, you know, because 99% of the time people come through and knock on the door and come sit down and hang out and watch, and that's how you network. I always tell people studio's always open. You know, I may have a girl in there and 10 people come through and chill out and watch and give their opinion and kind of like consulting too, you know. They'll come to you, okay, this is cool, I like that, whatever, you know. And if you want a closed session, then hey, the door's closed, you wait till whatever time we're done, you know. It doesn't matter either way to me.
But it's a good way for them to get other opinions and get another perspective, you know what I mean? And, you know, because when you make music, you obviously know that you're not going to please everybody, but you want to please somebody, you know what I mean? So you want to make sure that you get a chance to have somebody else take a listen to it before you put it out, or, you know, because you want to get that average person's perspective, or you want to get the perspective from another artist, you want to get a perspective from another engineer, and just somebody that might be like, okay, how do you see that? How do you see this? What do you see, or what do you hear when you listen to my music? So I think that's important. I like both, a combination depending on who and where we're at and who's coming in, because I don't want fucking Joe Schmo that don't know shit about his ass from his hat trying to tell me something about my music, to be honest with you. I'd rather take your opinion and another artist's opinion over that, because at the end of the day, it's like, you know, I make music and I make it for everyone, but I know that an artist will probably have a better perspective or a better opinion on what I could do to do better than the average person that doesn't know shit about recording or just barely got started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, with that being said, brother, I want you to tell everyone how they could find you, how they could get a hold of you. How can they be down with Sanctuary Recordings? How can they book a session? So give them all your information so that they know how to get a hold of you.
My IG is sanctuary.recordings or MADV. Madv is one word, not two
Mhm.
words. Madv underscore guitarist, I believe.
Okay. And that's
Um,
all on Instagram, correct?
yeah, and my Spotify is just MADV. Um, my number was it 916-720-8399. Everybody and their mama has my number, so it's not like it's a secret thing.
Yeah. So for everyone out there, if you don't know, just ask your mom when she has his number.
Yeah. Um, you know, and YouTube is Madv official.
That's right.
So I don't really keep up on social media that much. I just kind of do my thing and let the social media do itself, and
Mhm.
it's worked because I find artists spending all this money on their promotional stuff and it's not working. They'll get 10,000 views and all of a sudden 2 days later it's down to 100. So they're not really, whatever the bots or whatever those things
Sounds
are.
like they're paying for views to me. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
you get 20,000 on a song and you got 2 comments, it's paid for.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot of
and,
that
and
going
so
on.
I let mine. I drive Lyft 1 or 2 days a week, and I go to the college, and every time someone gets in the car, I have one of those. Hold on a second. Ugh.
Well, I'll hold you down until then.
I bought one of these.
Nice.
And basically, you just take it and you touch the top of your phone, and it brings up every social media, your
All your
contact.
platforms, everything. Yeah,
Yeah, it's basically a online business card.
that's pretty cool.
So everybody gets in that car, boom, or I'll ask them, "Are you Spotify or you Apple Music?" And since I've been doing that, they all the students go and tell all the other people, and it spreads around so much at that college that someone gets in the car, "Oh, you're Mad V," and all the Chinese girls get excited, and so I built a repertoire with all these people, and they start telling their friends, and then it just spreads faster than COVID.
Yeah.
You know,
Sometimes you can't beat word of mouth, bro. No matter what, you can't beat word of mouth. Like internet and all that stuff is cool, but there's so much bullshit in the water that it's hard to find out what's real and what's not. But when you actually see somebody, they show you their music, they show you that they're working, you
you
hear
make
it.
it personal.
Yeah, you make it personal. It's a more personal experience. Social media is very impersonal too. You could make it a personal experience, but then that's a lot of energy that you have that requires for you to do that. And a lot of times people don't have that time to put into it like that, where they're every day, all day, everything. You know what I mean? It's just a lot. We all got lives and things to do. But that's cool, bro. I'm digging it, bro. I appreciate you for your time. Thank you. Do you have any like shout outs or last things that you want to say for the people out there before we head out?
Um, I read this sign that I'm having a student paint on my wall. And it says recording God's way of saying you're not nearly as good as you think you are.
I like
It's
that. I
true.
like. I like that, bro. And you know what, bro? I like working with humble artists. Be humble and understand that you're a work in progress, and then we could always get far with that. And with that being said, I appreciate you once again, Matt V, Sanctuary Recordings, the artist, the engineer, the producer. We could go on and on. Appreciate your time. Thank you for coming through. We've been
Thank
working and
you.
we've been doing stuff, and like always, my platform is your platform. Anytime that you have a new song, a new something that you want to promote or plug, put me and my podcast, No Invite Podcast, on your promotional stop. Let us help you in pushing what you got going on. Like I said, man, you're always welcome back on here anytime. With that being said, you can find us on Instagram at no_invite_podcast. You could go to all major podcasting platforms and you can find this audio to this episode. You just type in No Invite Podcast. You can find us on all your favorite sites. You could also, if you really want to support us out there, people, if you want to go to YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. There you could find this episode in its entirety, whether it's the audio version or if you want to see our face, which some people do, they like to match the face to the name. You can find us on our YouTube channel. That's RiBirth Media Films, RiBirth Media Films with a Z. You can find us there, subscribe, slander us in the comments, whatever makes you feel good. Just run them numbers up for us. With that being said, I'm Blaze, you're Madv, and everyone out there, y'all are you. Have a wonderful day and stay blessed.